Greetings, YouTubers. Welcome aboard the London Taxi International TX2 on a 2003 plate with 287,000 miles and counting on my little clock. A very, very good afternoon to you. It's Thursday, I think about the 14th of January, is it? Comments down there if I've got it wrong. I've just finished work. I haven't done one of these for about a week, so I thought I'd fill you in a little bit about what's been happening with Poppy. There doesn't seem to be a week goes by that Poppy, I go to bed dreaming of Poppy, honestly. What's Poppy done now? Right, God. Right, let's rewind a little bit, gang, shall we? Let's just rewind just slightly. Do you remember? Are you sitting comfortably? Now I'll begin. Do you remember I was had the whining noise on the old TX2 that was causing me, let's say, some intrepidation? It was a strange noise that was whirring, driving me mad. And this road, this is just trying to get out from work. But do I care? No, I'm going home. Anyway, this noise was driving me to sort of, well, not to drink, but it was whirring, constantly whirring, driving me crazy. Coming from the front near side wheel, you will remember. So after jacking up the front near side wheel and checking the front near side wheel, I couldn't find anything wrong with it. I checked the track rod ends, I checked the top and bottom ball joints, I checked the whole lot, including the wheel bearing, playing wheel bearing, nothing. And I still had the noise. But if you remember, I told you that I silenced the noise by, remember the gearbox oil was low, and this is why I've told everyone to check it. Well, after putting the gearbox oil in, the noise seemed to lessen somewhat, but it never quite went away. So I thought to myself, right, it's still there, but it's possibly not as loud or as annoying as it was. So I thought to myself, I can live with it. Well, over the course of probably a week and a half, the whirring noise become, well, it was almost akin to getting your washing machine, getting a house brick, placing it in the drum and setting the drum to the fastest speed available on your washing machine. On my washing machine it's about 2000, I've got a really fast one. So imagine as it starts off, clunk, bang, crunch, bang, that's the noise from the front near side, getting worse and worse and worse, up to the fact I thought to myself, I'm really going to have to pull her off the road. She's excuse me, just the ends of this cough. I'm going to have to pull her off the road. I can't take much more of this. It's driving me crazy. So, back on the driveway, off with the wheel again, checking everything. Remember, I've already checked all the oil levels and everything, just in case it was something else. Didn't think, couldn't find it. And there was no play in the front near side at all. So I thought, what the hell is this? It's driving me mad. So I thought, right, I've got the front near side wheel off. There's nothing there. Let's go to the front offside wheel and just check it. So, obviously I haven't got a pit or a ramp, which is really annoying. So it had to be dropped back down on its boots. And then I jacked up the offside front. On jacking up the offside front, I grabbed the wheel, a bar under the wheel, and straight away there was about 3/4 of an inch. I kid you not. That's old money. 3/4 of an inch, what's that? About 6 mil? 7 mil, is it? Play. As I rocked it. And I thought, my God, what? Anyway, I furtively removed the wheel. And on removing the wheel, it was quite evident to see the offside rear wheel bearing was completely shot. And I'm thinking to myself now, the noise is not coming from the offside, it's coming from the near sides. How can that come across that axle? Honestly, if anyone, I've had people travelling in here and I've said, where do you think that noise is coming from? And everybody said to me, quite a few people, it's coming from the front there in the driver's footwell, i.e. driver's footwell, passenger footwell, sorry. It's coming from the front passenger footwell there, where I obviously don't have a seat, which is stored with all my bits and pieces. Sits next to me here, to my left. So I thought to myself, how does that happen? Anyway, I couldn't be bothered. Ordered up a new wheel bearing. New wheel bearing for this was, they had a cheapo for £9 plus VAT, and I didn't go for the cheapo. I went for the more expensive one, which was about £15, sorry. So I bought the new wheel bearing for £15 and slapped it on. Now, there are the Puritans. Sorry, I've got a rattle now, it's driving me mad. There are the Puritans amongst us that would say, James, Jim, you shouldn't change just the one wheel bearing, you should always change the pair. Yes, I know that, but I ordered up the one wheel bearing. Not that I'm tight or prudent, I ordered up the one wheel bearing for one reason. I just wanted to see if it stopped the noise, because if I'd have put both wheel bearings on, I would never have known what side really it was. If the noise suddenly stopped, I'd know, well, it was possibly, most probably, sorry, the offside wheel bearing. There's also a chance that putting a new wheel bearing in the near side, it could have been that as well. I would never know. It would be a 50-50 or a 70-30 really, because this wheel bearing was shot. Anyway, I digress, as I normally do. I placed the new wheel bearing in, torque down, finger tight, span the wheel, just so it nicely nips, so the wheel continuously spins. Back down on the floor, took her for a drive, turned the radio off, because the radio's been on so loud recently, because I've just drowned out the sound of this whirring. Anyway, total silence. In fact, as I'm driving now, absolutely quiet as anything. So, YouTubers, get out your Haynes manuals, get out your technical knowledge that's far more involved than mine, and tell me, how can a noise that comes from the front near sides, most definitely, as per 3 or 4 other people that have been in here, that quite eloquently put to me, James, it's coming from in there, including myself, how could it come from the offsides? How does that happen? So all the time that wheel has been on and off, on and off, on and off, checking it, and it ends up as the one wheel that I didn't check for, the offside. I know not. Welcome to a London Taxi International TX2. All you people out there that are thinking about buying a London Taxi International TX1, TX2 or a TX4, take all that I've said on board. As I said to you in a previous vlog, I have lifted the bonnet more times in this vehicle than I have ever lifted a bonnet in my life. In fact, I could do this blindfold now. Do you know sometimes you've got some vehicles where you never lift the bonnet? Now, have you ever done this? Now, used to have a Honda CR-V. Never lift the bonnet on a Honda. It had the... It was a beautiful car, absolutely fantastic car. Never ever lifted the bonnet on it. The only time we lifted the bonnet on that CR-V was when the windscreen washer fluid light told us that it needed a bit of windscreen washer fluid on it. And then when you did go to lift the bonnet, you forgot how to do it. And you've got people possibly, or you perceive people around you are looking at you because you're poking around under there trying to steal the car or what, and you can't lift the bonnet. This bonnet under here has been up and down so much, I must have worn the bonnet clips out. I can literally open it in a second. It's a regular occurrence. Something to remember, gang, if you have to do it. If you're thinking of buying one of these, don't expect the reliability of a Toyota Yaris or a Honda CR-V and think you'll never ever, once you buy this, that's all you've got to spend out for. You never have to do anything. You can sail around the country without a care in the world. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. These old vehicles have done many, many miles, as a lot of us will tell you. They are worn out. All we can do is to just keep patching and rebuilding and do little things to them to help them on their way to retirement. And that's what we do with these. It's a funny old game, it really is, owning one of these. In fact, gang, I don't believe that you ever own an old London cab. Do you know why? Because that old London cab owns you. It tells you when it's unwell. It tells you when it wants something to be done to it. It tells you when it wants fuel at an alarming rate, because the TX2 in here is doing 34 miles to the gallon. Remember, it's got the Transit engine in here. I'm running a Duratalk 2.4 Transit engine, fuel injected Transit with a turbo in here, and I'm getting 34 miles to the gallon. And in some of my previous vlogs they've said to me, James, amazing you're getting that, because we're punting cabs around London and we're getting 20 to the gallon. And looking at the comments in the London Vintage Taxi Association, these are renowned to be gas guzzlers. So expect yourself to be in the fuel station all the time, you know. I put 60 quid in here from bottom to top. I'm not quite sure how big the tank is. Now you work this out. If you're thinking of buying one and you've got a nice little car, a little 1 litre that goes forever on a gallon, I put 60 pounds of fuel, £60 of fuel in here. I don't know how many gallons that is, and what are we on a moment? 137 a litre. You do the maths. Please leave the comments underneath. I put 60 quid from, like, when the little orange light comes on here, which I know you shouldn't run it that low, but I do. Wait for the orange light to come on. Remember, this has been fully serviced, new fuel lines, new fuel filters, everything. So this is running perfectly. Emissions on here are almost zero, as I've said in a previous vlog. Even the examiner said he's never heard of one of these with such low emission levels. It's running as lean and green as it can, but on £60 to fill this from empty to full, I get 290 miles. Something for you to consider if you're getting one of these. 285 miles. and I'm not stuck and start in traffic all the time. A lot of my journeys, like today, I'm doing 55 mile an hour now. You know, I've not got the stop-start in London traffic or big city traffic. If you're thinking of buying one for big city traffic, your 34 miles to the gallon is going to go a lot less. To some of the London boys and girls that are telling me 20s to 22 to the gallon. Train for thought, gang. It's going to cost you a little bit to run. Insurance wise, we've already gone over, but I'm going to go over it again because I've just had someone that's just joined us, a new subscriber. We're pushing up to 100 now. Greatly appreciated. Don't forget, push the subscribe button if this is your first time in. Go through the back catalogue and it'll explain a little bit about owning one of these beasts, and hit the bell and you'll get all the notifications, my low dulcet tones and my very well moisturised face. Forget the eyes because they're buggered. So insurance, someone in my previous vlog has said, ask me, do you have any people that I can get insurance from, because I'm thinking of investing and getting one of these. I gave him the details and he came back with one company quoted him, I believe it was £2,700 for a year. He said, I'm 40 years of age, he's got an HGV licence. Yes, he'd be going into it with a no claims, no claims, because he's still going to keep his other car, so he can't switch that over. £2,700. And I gave him Pete Best, and I think Pete Best, even I jumped up and down because Pete Best quoted him £300. I'm not sure if that was third party fire and theft or fully com. Quoted him 300 for the year. Poppy here on the TX2 is coming up soon for renewal, so I might give that a go. I'm with Adrian Flux, and Adrian Flux, to insure this with a 60% no claims discount, because this is the only vehicle that I drive, I paid £500. So if I can get it for 300 with the no claims discount put on, I'll probably be paying £150. So that's the thing that I'm going to look at. So people out there, if you're thinking, do your homework. The next thing you got to do, it's lovely and quiet this car now without whirring, honestly. You know, I'd have paid someone £1,000, well no I wouldn't have done, but to hear your car without whirring. Anyway, I've gone off subject. Check the insurance first. Don't just go in and buy one of these and get left with a hot potato that you can't handle because you can't get her insured. Check your insurances from Pete Best, as I said, Adrian Flux and various others around. Don't bother, or if you really want to waste part of your life, go into the Go Compare websites and the insurance multi-choice websites, because the minute you put in the registration number of the cab, it won't even be in their database. And then you phone them, you go through all the details at the end, and they go, we don't insure taxis. You go, it's not a taxi. This is not a taxi. This is a private social domestic. No, I'm sorry, we don't insure taxis. And you've wasted 15-20 minutes of your life. So don't even bother to go there. Go to the specialist type places, two of which I mentioned, or look up on the internet for a lot more. I have no allegiance at all with insurance companies, and if I get the chance to jump ship when my insurance comes up for renewal, ship I will be jumping, believe me. I'm going to be looking for another cheaper insurance. Do you know what? There's not a year goes by when I've had, even before I've had taxis, older cars, every year flip between different companies. I even one year managed to get on Sheila's wheels, and they are meant for women. And I mean, I went on and I explained it all to them, and they insured me on Sheila's wheels. I don't know how, but they did. They were the best quote. when you've got a normal car, you can go on these Go Compare websites and give it a go. Don't bother, or if you do, you're going to be wasting portions of your life filling in a load of useless information that they're not going to use, and they're just going to reject you, and then your inbox is mail-shotted and filled with spam. So that's another thing. If you're going to go on a Go Compare website and start to put stuff in there and doing searching, go into Google, set yourself up a new Google Mail account, a brand new Google Mail account. Have all the stuff like that all sent to your Google Mail, your brand new, your spammy type account. That keeps your own email box completely clear of all rubbish that you have to keep deleting all the time. Ding! Tip of the day from Big Jim. How about that? Well, as you can see, I've still got this little bit of a cough. That's from Christmas Eve through until now. Poppy is now performing far better than I am. I've still got this little bit of a cough, although it is only minuscule now. But Poppy is absolutely purring, gang. She's lovely with that new wheel bearing in her. I'm not going to bother to change the other wheel bearing. The only time I probably would, if I find my tyres are wearing unevenly. My steering wheel is dead centre. I can let my steering wheel go now. Look, I'm not sort of travelling too far out of line. And do you know what? I'm now going to go into moan mode. I'm just going to be quick because I'm 21 minutes in now, and you're probably getting bored of me now. Do you know what I reckon? The bloody roads are the thing that's buggered it up. If you know, I've had the new steering box on here that cost 160 quid. And a lot of flipping swearing to fit it, because there's not a lot of space out here. So that's the steering box shagged because of a pothole that I do know I went over, sorry. And now the wheel bearing collapsed. And when I mean wheel bearing collapsed, when I took the bearings out, the races inside, they literally were like compounded. There was plenty of oil. There was loads of oil on it, but it looks like they've been compressed and literally squeezed. They were all out of shape. Well, most of them were out of shape, and I reckon that was down to these bloody roads that we drive on. You know, I drive now, gang, like a drunk man. I don't care now. They can pull me up and try and breathalyse me. They won't find anything wrong. I go down the road there like a snake now. I'm actually looking at the road ahead of me, but more importantly, I'm looking at the road ahead of me. Not for traffic, for potholes. And as I drive down the road now, I'm literally, you can see me at times driving left and right to avoid these holes in the road. Do it all the time. And I've never ever done that with my driving. Because of all the skills that I've got, skill-based driver-wise, holding all the licences and a driving assessor as well, for me to drive down the road in a snake format is totally wrong. If I had a pupil next to me on the drive and I was assessing them and they were driving sometimes like I am, like this, I'd be pulling them up. I'd have them. I'd say to them, what are you doing? And I'm driving like that for one reason and one reason only. I don't want another new steering box. I want to keep my suspension. I don't want to keep on paying out. Now, if that's me having a rank, gang, and it's totally unjust, come back to me. Please leave a comment down below. Is it me getting old and getting grumpy old man? Love that series. Is it me getting grumpy old man, or are our roads that bad now? Or in fact, are the roads that bad just where I live? Because I'm fed up with spending out on suspension, bearings, boxes, It's all the same thing all the time. So if you ever see an old London Taxi International TX2 with 287,000 miles on the clock, driving down the Wealds and the roads of West Sussex, and you look and think, that driver's drunk. He's not. It's me. Trying to avoid the bloody potholes. Well, gang, I think I've gone off enough. You're probably fed up by now and you've all just disappeared or fallen asleep or deleted your subscription to me. If you haven't, welcome on board. We are pushing over 100 subscribers now, and we're on our way to our first million, and I'll start to earn a lot more money then than the nothing that I'm earning at the moment. Who cares? I'm happy, and I'm glad you're happy. All right, everyone, look, from Big Jim, London Taxi International, 2001, no, lie, rewind that, 2003, 286,000 miles, silver edition. Have a very, very good, safe afternoon, and you know what's going to happen. We'll repeat it all again very, very soon. From all you out there, from all me in there, keep safe, and the big fella will keep up with you, or catch up with you, sorry, on the next vlog. Thanks everyone, and keep safe, keep smiling, and I'll catch up with you very soon. All right then, gang. Cheers now. Bye.